Welcome to Cinemophile, where we bring you the best in independent, documentary, and foreign films, and we talk to the people who made them. I'm your host, Mike Caspar, and you can find out more about the program by going to cinemaphilepod.com. This beautiful film captures the preparation for La Forza del Destino, Verdi's masterpiece, which opens La Scala's 2024 season from the initial rehearsals to the premiere. Award-winning director Anissa Bonnefont chronicles the world of a cast of singers, sopranos, stage directors, maestros, dancers, musicians, technicians. It is amazing to watch because you're along for this beautiful ride. It is shot beautifully. I want to ask how you shot it. It looks like you have some high-end cameras at work here, just all kinds of reasons to recommend this beautiful film, La Scala, The Force of Destiny for us dumb Americans, La Forza del Destino. Anissa Bonnefont, welcome to Cinemophile.
Thank you, Mike, for having me.
Thank
I'm
you
very
for
happy.
being here. I meant every word of it. I mean, I appreciate great work, a great singing, all the rest of it, but it's not my lane. It's not something I'm familiar with, but it doesn't matter. You are just swept away by this spectacle, getting to know the people in a way that their creative process. There's so much here to recommend. Tell me a little bit about what inspired you to move forward with this particular project.
Well, already I'm very happy that you're saying that you're not an opera aficionado, that it's something that you like and love, but it's not like your main passion, because the idea was that for me was really to make a movie about the opera, but for everybody, to show that opera belongs to everyone, because we always have this sensation that you have to be an aficionado, you have to have somehow a knowledge to be able to go to the opera. And the idea was to show that it's completely the opposite, that opera belongs to everybody because it's made by human beings like us, full of passion, full of talent, but simple people like everyone. And so that's really what I tried to show during the entire film. So I love opera, but it's the same as you. It's not like a universe that I know so well. I've been lucky enough to go see some operas in my life, in Paris, in New York, where I used to live. It was the first time I entered La Scala when I was supposed to film, and it was an unbelievable experience for me and amazing to be able to enter this incredible opera house. So I've put myself, in the position of somebody as a little mouse who entered the world and wanted to discover it and to show it to everyone the same way that I discovered it. That's how I envisioned the movie before I made it. So the idea for me was to follow the different crews, from the stage direction, so the rehearsals, to the costume designer, the set designer, of course, the musicians, and the chorus. For me, the chorus was a beautiful discovery because it was so incredible and gripping to hear those magnificent voices. It's a little by little to discover and to unveil how an opera gets fabricated.
Every element of this production, and by virtue of that, every element of this film is fascinating to watch.
Thank
It's
you.
fascinating. It's not even interesting, it's fascinating. I mean, it's more than
Oh.
interesting because, as you said, there are things that you discover. And to hear, as you put it, those voices when you hear them in unison, as they're learning how to sing together, as they're becoming one, and we see it from, basically from the decisions that are being made about the dance troupe that's going to be involved, all the different decisions that have to be made in terms of the look of it, the sound, the feel, everything about it is really, really interesting. And you're right about La Scala. I do want to get into sort of the history of La Scala, its importance in the community. And we can talk about Verdi. There's a lot of ways to go here in this conversation. But I was like you, just seeing it on film, La Scala, when you walk in, I can understand because the colors are vibrant. Everything feels like it's gotten your attention from the second you see it. Is that fair?
Y- Yeah, absolutely. I felt like it's true that it's also very cinematographic, and I was lucky for that because this opera, it's I mean, the opera house itself is like a masterpiece on, on its own, the building and the inside. But also what I loved very much was to discover the warehouses where
Yeah.
they've been building the sets and the costumes. I also felt that this place was very interesting, not as beautiful, in the image wise, but very powerful. Somehow it felt that this was the place where all the creativity took place, where you could make all the mistake and start again, ask yourself all the questions about, where they wanted to go, why, how they wanted to, the look of the opera, the look of everything. And how, what was so fascinating for me to follow was how the set designer, the costume designer, and Leo Muscato, the stage director, worked together to have this unicity in this tremendous show, because the show is huge, the set is unbelievable, like the technicity behind it is amazing. So many people, that there is 900 people working on an opera. 900 people, it's just insane. And all these things, I discovered them while I was filming. And for me, the idea, I come from, well, my passion is cinema, and I come from cinema. So I always made documentaries for cinema, and actually fiction as well. And so my idea is like to treat my documentaries the same way as you treat a fiction, in the sense that the best material I can find, and I think that can work for the story, because you always adapt to your story, I feel. And so I really wanted to have some camera coming from the cinema. Like, we have a beautiful camera, but I also had beautiful lenses to give, this sensation of softness to the image, as if we were entering a dream, because it's somehow a dream to be able to, discover this hidden and this secret place that we never see.
As I mentioned at the top of our conversation, I'm familiar with opera. I'm not a devotee, but it's easy to see how powerful it is. And a lot of that power comes from watching the construction of this opera, watching the different pieces and how they come together. And the film itself builds towards this premiere, La
Mm,
Prima, that is coming, and it gives that's another thing. It gives the film that tension that you need to really
yeah.
kind of pull people in. It's got to be done. It's got to be done right. All the things that yeah, and at the same time, very little of the drama that I think most people associate with films, fictional films about production of a film or a play or whatever. There's usually this evil force against the, there's sort of all these different kind of constructs that we're used to seeing. This feels like a very creative. I'm sure there are creative differences along the way, but it feels very, very community in the way that they're going about it.
Yes, exactly. So of course, there's been some moments where it was more complicated, and especially we saw in the movie when Leo Muscato decided to stage a scene where it would be two men kissing and one of the men giving birth, and it was, and so the like La Scala said, this is going to be complicated, because like some people of the chorus were very Christians, and they didn't like this idea, and they were embarrassed, and they didn't want, that scene to take place before Christmas. So that's also interesting, to see
Yeah,
that this,
right.
like, to be like that, you need to also manage all the emotions and the sensitivity of the 900 people you have around you building that
Right.
opera. So that was very interesting. But yeah, it's exactly, I'm touched that you feel that, because it's what I wanted to show, that it's a real community, that everybody, like, the I would say the bigger posts, like the director, but also, like everybody, even like the technicians that are here for the light, or just to move the sets, or they all have a place in the film, because I felt when I arrived there that they all had a real place, and they really belonged to the creation of that opera. So I really wanted to show all these people, to give them all a place, space, because I also, it felt for me, I really made the parallel that in movies it's the same. We have big crews behind us, not in documentaries, but in fiction, and we never see the people behind, and we don't even understand the hard work that they're putting. So I thought it was somehow an homage to all the technicians in our art processes. That can be the opera, but the cinema, theater, musical. So I really, for me, it was that's what I wanted to do.
I could not agree more. And by the way, because you brought him up, Leo Muscato, who is
Yeah.
the stage director, is the quiet storm in the middle of all the other stuff that's going on. You know, he's got so much on his mind, so many things to consider, and he gives direction in a way that I think is constructive in when he's
Mhm.
going about what he has to do. He also has to be firm. I remember the section of the film where he's picking the dancers that will be there. There was a certain, you
Yeah.
could tell there's certain tension in there, but he always seemed very benign, very much, we're about this. Talk a little bit about Leo because I really grew to
I
really appreciate him in the film.
I adored Leo. Like, as it's funny, but I had I fell in love with Leo. I also learned a lot from him, from the way actually he's directing everybody in this kind of very sensitive, calm, and extremely passionate way. But he never has a word over, or he's not trying to get any power of any kind, which it's quite, special because it happens a lot. And he is just such a passionate person, working so hard on each detail, on why he wants to tell something that way, how to respect Verdi's story, and at the same time how to make it contemporary for the audience today to be able to relate to it, to the story that was written, I think, in 1862. I don't remember exactly the date, but anyway. So I think, yeah, I loved so much watching Leo work. And yeah, he's committed to everything, every second. He's present for everybody.
Yeah.
And he gave this, actually he's the one, because he's the master of this huge ship. So he was really capable of, in the middle of all this madness, because they have a very short time lapse to be able to create that opera. He's been able to create a sense, I think, of trust and of hard work, but in a very happy way also of doing things. So no, Leo is impressive.
Yeah, it was. And I think he understands the dynamics of being a leader in a situation like this where the leader sends out a kind of I'll call it a vibe. That's not exactly the right word, but
No, it's true, a vibe.
yeah, yeah, that if he was petty or he was territorial or if he was any of the things that can cause a production like this to fracture, it would have been disastrous. There would have been certain people arguing over nonsense, and he didn't let it happen. But that's based a lot on just
Absolutely.
who he is. It just felt like that's,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's his soul. That's how he is. He's extremely generous.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to remind our listeners that we are speaking with the director of this remarkable documentary. It really is. I was just blown away by Anisse Bonnefont, who she is the director of the film La Scala, The Forest of Nature, or if you're listening overseas, La Forza del Destino. The other thing, the context, the town, the city, the history of La Scala, what it means. And so, and you feel that in the film as well. This is the event of the year. December 7th marks the beginning
Hmm.
of Milan's legendary opera season at La Scala since 1951. So this is just another part of it. And for a country that's so rich in history of art and so much to offer the world, to see that this is so important is just, I mean, I'm just blown away by that, all
Yeah,
that vibe.
you know what? I felt it reassuring somehow that in the world that we live in today, the fact that the opening of the season of the opera in Milano is still such an event and something that people look forward to. That it's beautiful because the 7th of December, it's the day of the saint of the city of Milano. So they decided to open the opera season the day of the party of the city, basically. And the entire town really turns around the opening of La Scala. So in the prison of the city, in the jail of the city, you have a big screen for the inmates and their family that can come that night to see together the opera. And so that's what I filmed at the end when we see them in jail. I really wanted to show that. Then there was this huge screens. There were many in the city, and especially in the San Vittorio Emanuele Square, which is like the main square of Milano, close to El Duomo, the big church of Milano. And everybody was there, family together with their big coats and everything, watching outside the opera. And then, of course, you had the people that were able to be inside the opera. But it felt that it's, and of course, then you have the main TV, La Rai Uno, who is filming in direct, and it's on air on TV for everybody at the same time. So it's really, it's a democratic art opera for Milano. It's not like that everywhere, but for Milano, it really is like it used to be before cinema would exist and everything. People would go in the opera house, you know, to have a moment together, and it's still that. And I find it very important, especially in the world where we're in, where screens are the only, new thing, and social media, and now AI. Like there, it's really the power of human being creating, because no AI could go there and do what's happening inside La Scala. And I think it's beautiful to show that today.
I mentioned it to you at the beginning of our conversation, the look of the film, because it's such a bright, well lit. Everything in this film just is vibrant. I guess that's a good word for it. It's vibrant watching it. You feel, and I think some of it is the material. You're kind of swept away by all of the things that you're watching in terms of the production, getting to know these people. But boy, there's just a vibrancy to this film, and I don't know how you did it, but congratulations on it.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think it's part of the fact that I've been able to have these people trusting me. So the fact that they trust me, we felt part of the creation of that opera. And they said it at the end, like we were backstage and everybody was hugging, and this is the end of the film. And they came to us and they've been hugging me and my team and saying, you're really part of the making of this opera, because it's true that we shared a lot and we were with them all the time. And if they didn't trust us, they wouldn't have, of course, first of all, accepted, but then let go as they did. And it would have, the vibrancy, I think it's because of the natural and of the trust that is happening. So we really feel, what I feel is that we really feel that we're participating with them when we watch the movie. It's not as if, something was either stage or we see a little because they accept that we do a little bit, but not too much. Like we were really part of it. So I think it's very intimate, and that's why also maybe it's vibrant, because it's very, it's following, and it's based on the human beings. They're on the souls that are, inhabiting La Scala. So I guess, yeah.
Well,
and then my DOP, Martina Cocco, my DOP, she's super talented.
That's Martina, Cocco.
Martina Cocco, yeah.
Yeah. Great job. Great team. Great teamwork, because she had to have a lot of people doing a lot of things to make all that happen. And
we were a lot. Not a lot. We were not a lot, actually. At the beginning, we were just like 4 of us. Wow. Sometimes I operate a camera myself because I love doing this. And then the more the movie was moving forward, the more camera I needed, because many things were happening in different places. So at the end, the last days, they'd finished with 5 cameras. So we were 5 crew here and there and everywhere. It was insane.
Well, Anissa, thank you. Wow, thank you for your work. So be looking for this amazing documentary film, La Scala, The Force of Destiny, a Verdi opera, beautifully put together. Absolutely. Anissa Bonnefont, thank you so very much for your time today and for your work. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mike. Really, dearly, thank you.
You have been listening to Cinemaphile with Mike Kaspar, the place where you will hear from the best in independent documentary and foreign filmmakers. Please check out our previous interviews as well as upcoming interviews and special programming by going to cinemaphilepod.com. We are also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, searchable under Cinemaphile with Mike Kaspar. Until next time, thank you for listening.